Darryl, thanks so much for joining us. We got Darryl Brown, the head coach at Grimsley High School. Can you take us through, I guess, when Alonza played for you and sort of what it was like coaching him?
Yeah, we had Alonza the last 2 years of his high school career here at Grimsley. And during his time with us, he only lost one game. So, I've always told people the best thing that you can say about him is he's a winner. And he finds a way to win. He obviously has a tremendous skill set, understands the game really well. But, he's such a people talk about how nice of a young man he is and that kind of stuff. When he puts the pads on and gets between those white lines, I used to call him a silent assassin. I mean, he would rip your heart out to win a football game, and he was tough, physical, and just the ultimate competitor.
When he was with you at Grimsley, he's in the middle of a very intense QB battle with Jordan McCloud, an Arizona transfer. And now he's jostling for that QB1 spot, potentially being the starter in just about 14 days. Was he ever in a quarterback competition with you all at Grimsley?
No, I mean, when we had him, I mean, he was our guy. That was pretty obvious. I mean, if you have two guys like him at the high school level, then you really got something. He was clear cut our leader. And the guy that was going to lead our football team during that stretch. And part of that run was during the COVID time when things were really difficult for a lot of people. And I think we had several guys, but he was one on our team that you really saw his leadership during that time, keeping our guys together. When we couldn't do stuff with them, he was getting them together on their own, doing some workouts and throwing, that kind of stuff. So he loves the game. And again, like I said, he's a competitor and he's a student of the game and, loves to get after it and play.
Yeah, you mentioned his play style. Can you take us through that a little bit? As we haven't actually had a chance to, I think he's thrown one pass in a JMU uniform, and we've heard the reports from practices are impressive, but the fans haven't actually had a chance to see much of him. What are some of the strengths of his on-field game?
Well, he really understands the game. I mean, he has a great understanding of what defenses are trying to do. And that goes back from, with his dad, and the training that he's had growing up. And, that he's been put through a lot with a lot of different people. So he has a great understanding of what defenses are trying to do, which for a high school kid, and we had him, is a luxury because you don't get that a lot of times. So I know even there at JMU that he's doing a lot as far as, watching film, meeting with his staff. He's just different. He lives and breathes football. So he's different than any other kid I've ever had come through here. And then, on the field, as far as his physical tools, he's got a tremendous strong arm. He's very accurate with the football. I think now, I know toward the end of his time with us, and from what I hear up there, he's even better now, kind of being able to make all different types of throws. There was a time where he was going to throw that thing through a wall, no matter what. So now he's got a little touch and different things. But, I've always said when Alonza gets on the field up there that I think it'll be hard to get him off because he just finds a way to get the job done. And, he makes the guys around him better. So I'm excited for him, and I hope he gets that opportunity.
You mentioned him throwing the football. All we've seen from him, like Bennett said, are these, hype videos that are coming out. So there's 4-second clips of him throwing a football. And each time we see it, Bennett and I are just wildly impressed by his spiral. Like, it is such a tight, quick release, tight spiral. So I got to ask, did that come to high school or did you teach that into him?
No, when like I said, we got him his junior year. And when he came here, that stuff he had already, kind of been working and developing. He spent a lot of time in Atlanta with Quincy Avery and some guys like that are well-known quarterback trainers. But him and his dad, probably from the time Alonza was, 11 years old, have really kind of went all in on the quarterback deal. And, he's year-round working at that craft. And, so it's something that's been years in the making for him. But he does have a quick release. He does throw a really good spiral, a good ball. I think even stuff I've watched when he's there, he's obviously just because he's getting stronger and stuff. He's even better now, obviously. So he's worked years for this opportunity.
I always love talking to high school coaches about players who go on to play in college because those guys typically have some super impressive high school stories. I was curious if there were any individual performances or games that really stand out with Alonza where you're like, wow, that guy was a star.
Well, there's a few, but the first game that he played for us, we didn't really. I mean, we knew he was a tremendous talent, but we just, you don't really know how it's going to be until the lights come on, obviously. And it was during during the COVID year we played in the spring, so our first game that season was on a cold Friday night in February, and we were on the road, and everybody had canceled their games in the state or played them on a Thursday because it was about 30 degrees and it was raining sideways, and we were actually playing on a turf field down towards Charlotte. So the school we were playing at played, and that night was some of the worst conditions I've ever been a part of anywhere. And he went out, threw a couple of touchdowns, and then made a huge touchdown run in the second half where he ran over a defender and got into the end zone. And we kind of knew right then that we were dealing with somebody different, and then the rest of the way, I mean, he was much the same. The bigger the game, the better he played. And he had a game like that in the state semifinals against a good Butler team out of Charlotte, where he made just some unbelievable throws when we were backed up in our own end zone. And then, like his senior year, the conference championship game over at Northern Guilford, they were undefeated. We were undefeated, and that whole night, just scramble, run, throw, whatever we needed. And we won 42-36, come back late, and he picked up a huge first down late in the game with his legs to run the clock out. But just all those things go back to what I talked about at the beginning. He would not let us lose. He refused to let our football team lose. And you could see it in his eyes. You could hear it in his voice. And again, just the ultimate competitor.
That's awesome. If Alonza's named that quarterback one, and for week one, or more importantly, I guess week two against UVA when JMU goes to Charlottesville, what are you most excited to see out of him when he does take over control of the offense?
Well, whenever he gets that opportunity, I mean, I know how hard he's worked to have a shot, and I know he's still young too. So I mean, redshirt freshman, and there's not many redshirt freshmen starting quarterbacks anywhere in college football. So, but if he gets the opportunity, I know he'll be ready for it. So I'm just excited to see him be able to perform and do what he's, been trained to do and what he's worked for. So, I've made a comment here multiple times, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with you guys. I feel like whenever he gets that shot and he gets on the field, that it'll be really hard to take him off, because he's a winner. And I don't know any coach anywhere that don't want to win. So he's the kind of guy that, finds ways to win, and, you can't beat that.
Yeah, I think you're speaking the coach language when I think Signetti understands exactly what you're saying when you say all Alonza knows how to do is win. I think that's a big reason why he's probably still in this quarterback running and giving Jordan McCloud everything he can handle. And from some reports, it seems like Barnett's now the leader in the clubhouse.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I'm happy for him. So I've talked to him a little bit. I talked to his dad pretty regular. So, I knew he was in the hunt and he's in the running there. So, like I said, I know he's going to work hard. If they go with him, that I think they'll make a good choice.
That's awesome. Last question for me. I was just curious, I guess, what kind of offensive scheme you guys had with him. It sounds like he was able to do a lot sort of running and passing. I was curious what the philosophies were that he was working with in high school.
Yeah, he had some good talent around him. I mean, we had a tight end, H-back kind of guy that now plays at Northwestern University. He was a real good player. He had two outside receivers that were, Division II type football players. So that's pretty good at the high school level as well. And then we had a running back that's playing junior college ball now. But we were a spread offense, just basically what you see, no huddle. Not necessarily up tempo, had the ability to be up tempo, but did a lot of scanning and checking with the sideline to try to get in the right play. Alonza would have some flexibility at times to get us in something if need be that maybe he saw out there that was good. We obviously trusted him, but we RPO based, did a lot of RPO stuff, and then obviously had some design quarterback runs in as well because taking advantage of his legs. Not that he was necessarily, would outrun people, but Alonza did a great job of, he could run through tackles. He was strong. He was physical and getting the yards that you need. And the best thing he does is manipulate the pocket. When we had him, if protection broke down, he hardly ever got sacked. He was able to kind of had a great presence of where pressure was coming from and being able to manipulate and move out of that, and then create with his legs or make a throw down the field. Some of our best plays was, when we had a concept called and protection broke down, and then Alonza would scramble and pick up 20s. So he just has a great feel on the field, and the game seems very, very slow for him. And I know probably the more he's been up there and been around and kind of caught up with everything, it's probably slowing down for him up there as well. So it's a great opportunity for him. So I'm hoping that he gets that shot.
That's awesome. That offensive scheme seems a lot more fun than what Bennett and I's high school ran. I think Bennett said his high school ran a wing tee. Mine ran a triple option. I think we threw 3 passes my entire high school career. So that sounds a lot more fun.
I was a high school quarterback and I was in the wing tee as well. So in my first few years as an assistant coach, we were a triple option team. So I understand all that for sure.
Yeah, it was a
quarterbacks take a lot of hits in that system for sure.
But thank you so much, Coach Darryl Brown, head coach of Grimsley High School, taking the time out of your day to talk a little Alonza Barnett and that QB competition happened up in JMU.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.